The hallway buzzed with chatter and footsteps as you walked in, weaving through students until you reached your locker. The moment your fingers touched the cold metal of the handle, you sensed it, another presence beside you. Without needing to glance, you already knew who it was, Jungkook, the college's untouchable heartthrob. Cold, unreadable, handsome, the kind of man who didn't need to try. His aura did the talking. He stood just a locker away, grabbing his books in complete silence, not sparing you even a flicker of attention. But that was Jungkook. He never looked, yet somehow always noticed everything. You shut your locker with a soft clang, but your eyes catch something that had not been there before. A sticky note pasted on the inside of the locker. Your heart dipped. You stared at it for a second too long, debating whether to touch it, to read it, to ignore it, but curiosity won. You pulled the note slowly. Jungkook had paused too, his hand frozen halfway through grabbing a book. You didn't even have to read aloud. The sentence seared into your brain the moment your eyes landed on it. Bet those curves would look better tangled up in my sheets. Your stomach turned. It was the third one this week. Anonymous, flirty, disrespectful. Some reckless playboy had clearly made you a target, and you had not said a word to Jungkook. Didn't want to bother him, didn't want to look weak. Your fingers trembled slightly as you crumpled the note, but before you could hide it, Jungkook's hand darted out and snatched it from you. Jungkook, he didn't answer. His expression was stone cold, his jaw clenched tight as he read the words. The sharp flex of his muscles said everything. His eyes, normally unreadable, now burned with a dangerous gleam. He crushed the paper in his fist like it had insulted him personally. He didn't yell, he didn't scold, he couldn't. Not here, not with all these students watching. But you could feel the storm he was holding back. His silence screamed louder than words. You took a cautious step back, trying to calm your racing heart. Your cheeks burning in humiliation and something else, something that felt an awful lot like guilt, even though you had done nothing wrong. Just as you turned to leave, a chirpy voice echoed from behind. Jungkook? You froze, so did he. A girl came bouncing up, her hand latching into his wrist like it belonged to her. Minji, his so called girl best friend. Her perfectly styled hair, fake sweet smile, and that annoying habit of always touching him like she had the right. You noticed it instantly how his hand twitched, how his posture stiffened. He didn't pull away sharply, just enough to make it clear he wasn't comfortable. He never was with her touch because, despite all the rumors, all the assumptions, you knew the truth. He was loyal, loyal to his wife, you. She clung to him, guiding him toward the classroom, talking too loud, laughing too hard. He let her drag him away, but his eyes flicked back once, just once toward you. His stare lingered for a heartbeat longer than it should have, and then he disappeared into the classroom. You swallowed hard, clutching your books to your chest like a shield, eyes on the floor, heart in your throat. You turned the other way and walked off, your mind loud with questions, your heart aching with things you couldn't say out loud. You entered the classroom and quietly made your way to your seat beside Chloe. The tension from earlier still lingered in your chest, like a weight you couldn't shake. Chloe turned her head toward you, her eyes curious and a little playful, as she nudged your elbow. What's up with you? You look all flushed. Something happened? You gave her a faint smile as you placed your books on the desk, your fingers still slightly trembling from the earlier moment. Another note, it was on my locker again. Her smile faded immediately as her brows furrowed in concern. You're kidding. Was it as bad as before? Worse. It was disgusting. I didn't even read it out loud, just one line, and my whole face turned red. I swear it's that jerk Jackson. He stares at you like he's unracing you with his eyes every time you walk past. He's obsessed and not in a cute way. You nodded slowly, your eyes drifting to the side before you even realized what you were doing. Jungkook sat just one row across from you. His head was slightly tilted, but he wasn't looking at his notebook. He was listening every word. His grip on his pen tight, his knuckles slightly white from the pressure. His eyes flickered for just a second toward the front, toward Jackson. Jackson, who was smirking like he had done nothing wrong. His gaze slid toward you with that same arrogant confidence, like he enjoyed knowing he made you uncomfortable. You looked away immediately, pretending not to notice, but Jungkook had seen everything. The professor walked in, and the room fell into quiet, but even as lectures continued, the air remained heavy. Jungkook didn't speak a word, but the silence around him wasn't calm. It was quiet, ready to snap. After 3 long lectures, the bell rang for break. Students began gathering their books and moving out of the classroom. Jungkook remained seated, and so did Minji, who slid into the seat beside him as if it belonged to her. Her voice was loud, animated, filling the quiet air with needless chatter. Her hand reached for his arm casually, then again as she laughed at her own joke. He didn't say much, just sat there, eyes on the desk, barely responding. But he didn't push her away either. You watched once, just once, then turned away. You and Chloe walked to the cafeteria. The halls were noisy, but your mind was somewhere else entirely. At the table, you sat down and unwrapped your sandwich. Chloe popped the lid off her drink and looked over at you. Seriously, though, are you gonna do something about those notes? Tell a professor, maybe? I don't want to cause drama. It's probably some dumb dare or game. It will stop eventually. Unless Jackson really is the one doing it. You have seen how he looks at you. It's not funny anymore. I wish Jungkook hadn't seen it. He looked so angry, but he didn't say a word. That's because he's probably ready to murder someone in silence. You gave a small laugh and picked at your sandwich, but you couldn't shake the image of his clenched jaw or the way he looked at Jackson, like he was already counting down the seconds. Before you could reply, a girl rushed to your table, her face pale with urgency. Hey, Jungkook is fighting with Jackson in the classroom. Your heart stopped. Your sandwich fell from your hand. You didn't even speak. You just ran. Your feet pounded against the floor faster and faster until you reached the crowd gathered around the classroom. Phones were out, voices whispering, gasps filling the air. You pushed past them, ignoring everything else. Inside, chaos. Jungkook was on top of Jackson, fists flying, one after another. No pause, no mercy. Smeared across Jackson's cheek, a bruise already forming under his eye. Jungkook's face was hard, ruthless, his breathing rigged as he gripped Jackson by the collar and punched again, like he wasn't trying to stop until Jackson forgot how to even look at you again. You rushed forward. Jungkook, stop, please stop. He didn't hear you, or maybe he did, but the rage in his eyes had drowned out everything. His knuckles were red now, his expression wild. The classroom seemed to freeze around him. No one dared get close. You dropped to your knees and grabbed his shoulders, pulling him back. Enough, you will get suspended. Stop it. At your touch, he finally froze, his chest rose and fell, his breathing loud in the stunned silence. Jackson shoved him off and scrambled to his feet, trailing from his lip. He didn't say a word, just ran out of the classroom, pushing through the crowd and disappearing. You turned back to Jungkook, still kneeling in front of him, your hands on his arms. His eyes met yours, but before you could speak, someone from behind shoved you forward in the crowd. You lost your balance and you fell into him, right into his chest. Your hands landed against him for support, but your face tilted upward, and before either of you could react, your lips brushed against his. It was soft, accidental, breathless. A hush fell over the classroom, gasps echoed like a wave. But neither of you moved. His hands came up slowly, cupping your cheeks like they were something precious. His lips moved gently against yours, as if he had been waiting for this moment, but had never dared to state it. For a second, the word disappeared. But then, a sharp yank at your hair, a scream, and a burning sting across your face. The slap rang out loud and clear. Your head snapped to the side. It was Minji. She stood there, her hand raised, her eyes blazing with fury. How dare you visit him? Who do you think you are? Your hand flew to your cheek. The sting of her slap echoed through your body. Everyone stared, some in shock, some in silence, and a few whispering behind their hands. The silence was deafening, and Jungkook, still on his knees beside you, was staring at her like he had just seen a stranger strike the most precious thing in his world. Your cheeks still stung, and your heart thundered against your ribs as you clutched your face, the burn of Minji's slap spreading like fire beneath your skin. The classroom was frozen, everyone too stunned to breathe, and the weight of their eyes made it hard to even lift your gaze. Then Minji stepped forward, her voice vanished, sharp like broken glass. How dare you kiss him, you low class girl? You think a cheap girl like you can have him? Her words sliced through the air, dripping with jealousy and hate. The whispers around the class grew louder, a mix of disbelief and stunned silence. But before you could even respond, Chungkook's entire frame stiffened, his fists clenched at his sides. Then slowly he rose from the floor. The calm that radiated from him now wasn't peaceful. It was the terrifying calm before a storm. His eyes were locked on Minji, dark and furious, like a beast, held back only by a threat. Shut up, Minji. His voice was low, cold, and laced with warning. Minji flinched back as if the words themselves had struck her. She tried to recover, her voice shaking slightly now. Jungkook, she kissed you in front of everyone. How can you defend her like that? He stepped closer, his glare never wavering. A wife can kiss her husband. The air was sucked out of the room. Gasps filled the silence louder than thunder. Even you froze, staring up at him in disbelief. Minji stumbled back half a step, her face drained of color. What? Her voice was barely a whisper now, the confidence gone from her tone. Jungkook didn't stop. Yes, you heard me. She's my wife. And as for your boyfriend, who is your boyfriend? Minji, because I don't ever remember being that. She gulped, her mouth opening and closing, but no sound came out. Her eyes darted around the classroom, looking for someone, anyone, to defend her, but there was only silence. You are my best friend. That's the only reason I'm letting this go. But I swear, if you were any other girl, I would have slapped you back right here in front of everyone. His voice turned harsher, louder, his fury no longer hidden. I have never raised my hand on my wife, and you had the audacity to hit her. You could see the fury shaking through his body, the storm he was holding back by pure will. Then he turned, his sharp eyes scanning the room, at every phone held in the air, at every wide eyed student frozen in place. And the rest of you, if any of you try to touch her, humiliate her, or even speak her name in disrespect, he paused, his voice rising to a growl. I will make sure you beg for death and it won't come. A chill swept through the room. You could feel it, the fear, the silence, the awe. No one moved, no one breathed. All the pride, the rumors, the gossip that had floated in the air minutes ago shattered under his words. You stood there stunned, not just from the pain of the slap, but from the weight of what had just happened. He just told the whole world who you were, his wife, and now no one would ever dare touch you again. You took Jungkook's wrist firmly yet gently, your fingers curling around his skin as if anchoring him away from the chaos that had just erupted. Without waiting for a word, you led him down the quiet hallway toward the college clinic. The sterile scent of antiseptic filled the air as you pushed open the door, only to find the room empty, no doctor in sight. A flicker of worry crossed your mind, but you pushed it aside. Jungkook settled onto the narrow clinic bed, his posture stiff, his knuckles raw and bleeding from the harsh punches he had thrown. Pickled slowly from tiny cuts, a dark contrast against his pale skin. Your heart clenched seeing him like this, a raw mix of vulnerability and anger. You knelt down beside him, your hands trembling slightly, not from fear, but from the closeness, the intimacy of this moment you had not expected. You found the antiseptic and gently dabbed a cotton swab, carefully wiping the dried blood from his knuckles. Jungkook's muscles twitched under your touch, but he said nothing, only watching you with those sharp eyes. With steady fingers, you wrapped a clean gauze bandage around his hand, making sure it wasn't too tight but enough to protect the wounds. The rough texture of the bandage against his skin seemed to calm him slightly, and you found yourself lingering a moment longer than necessary, your hands brushing lightly over his wrist. You looked up, catching the sight of his trembling lips and the tears threatening to spill. The weight of the moment pressed on you, his protective fierceness, the recent tension, and the raw emotions swirling inside. Stop crying. His voice was harsh, almost snapping through the silence. You flinched, hands still shaky, but your voice barely above a whisper. You managed to say, I'm not crying. You kept your eyes cast down, afraid to meet his burning gaze. Instead, Jungkook pulled you gently into his lap, wrapping his arms securely around your waist. His chest felt warm against your cheek as he softly patted your back, a steadying rhythm that soothed your racing heart. Why are you crying, baby? Hmm? You sniffled, your voice breaking as you spoke the truth. Your hand was bleeding. What if I had not stopped it? What if it got worse? I would have done worse if you were not here to stop me. His voice dropped low, edged with a dangerous protectiveness. How could he disrespect my wife like that? Your body, your curves, they are mine. Mine to touch, mine to protect. No one also has the right to lay a finger or a word on you. His fingers gently traced the side of your face, and you felt the sincerity and fierceness in his words settle deep inside your heart. You swallowed hard, ashamed of, overwhelmed at once. I'm sorry. Why? I don't know. You looked down and noticed the angry red mark left by Minji's slap on your cheek. It burned, not just from pain, but from humiliation. Jungkook's jaw clenched again, and then he leaned forward, pressing a soft, deliberate kiss on the reddened skin. You gasped softly, the kiss tender yet possessive, sending a rush of warmth through you despite the strain. Let's go home. I will hold ice on your cheek. I know it hurts. He brushed a stray strand of hair behind your ear, his voice dropping to a whisper. And I'm sorry on behalf of Minji. He nodded. Your tears now soft sniffles nestling into his chest. You felt his steady heartbeat against your cheek. Now stop crying or I'm going to kiss you again. A small smile played on your lips, the tension finally easing. You lifted your face and pressed a soft, lingering kiss to his. Your lips moved gently against his, warm and tender, a quiet promise shared between just the two of you. He closed his eyes, deepening the kiss for a moment before pulling back slightly, resting his forehead against yours. You're mine, you know that. Every curve, every smile, every tear. You belong to me. And you're mine, no one else can have you. His hands cupped your face, thumb stroking your cheeks as he whispered. Always, the world outside melted away, and for a moment it was just you and him, safe, protected, and fiercely connected.